Alright, in this video we're going to talk about parries, and there are actually 4 different type of parries. I'm a veteran player. I've been playing this game since when it was first launched, and back then the one button parry was implemented, but it was really bad, so nobody used it. And over the several seasons after that, the one button parry was like continually improved on. And nowadays, I think most new player when they're coming in, the one button parry is probably their like default method of parrying. The one button parry in and of itself isn't bad anymore at current stage in time, and there's no problem using it. However, the one button parry is basically choosing from the 4 type of different parry depending on what animation you are currently in. So you just pick the one that's fastest at any given time to use. However, aside from speed, there are specific behaviors to each type of the parry, and if you don't understand those, basically you kind of just pressing parry and hoping it works. A lot of the time, parrying is not a guess. It's not a gamble. It's a calculated action. And hopefully in this video I can kind of share some insight to the different type of parries. So even if you don't decide to practice the 2-button parry, understand how they works can help you use the 1-button parry better. So the first type of parry is called the transition parry. So if you're gonna use the parry manually, you have to press the left and right button, the left and right mouse button simultaneously, right, or in very short succession. So what happens is how to perform transition parries. If you hold down a blue, either vertical blue or horizontal blue, it doesn't matter, but there is a brief period, like a 0.5-second period, that hasn't reached stage 1 yet. So if you release the attack, it's going to be a move, what we call a blue push. What it means is you are releasing a light attack, but prior to the light attack, you have blue super armor, right? This is actually a technique that people use a lot to kind of tank the enemy's light attack, and then counterattack with their own light attack. But that's not the point today. The point is, in the same timing window, basically the first 0.5 seconds of you holding blue, if you press the other mouse button and simultaneously release your initial holding blue button, then it's going to transition into a parry, and hence the name transition parry. Let me attempt to showcase. Holding blue, parry, holding blue, parry, holding blue, parry. Holding blue, parry, holding blue, parry. If I hold it too long, when I reach 0.1 stage, and I try to do the same, it's not going to work. It would just be, I would just be releasing my blue attack, right? So it sounds, it's like, well, what's the point? Like how is the transition parry any different from just doing a parry or doing one mouse parry? What's the point? So now if I come to the practice room, and then I will set a custom action for the bot here. I'll let him use katana, and I'll have him do the good old 1, 2, 3 combo, right? Just 1, 2, 3. All right. That's the 1, 2, 3 combo. And here, if you use transition parry, you can hold down blue as soon as you regain your control. Basically, as soon as you got hit, you just press and hold blue, and then you can wait until you see the third attack coming out to transition into a parry, to kind of almost land 100% parry. So let me try that. Right, basically, let's try again. All right, now visually right now it seems like there's no difference because I know for sure he's gonna release the third attack anyway, so there's no difference between me just doing a regular parry by pressing 2 buttons simultaneously or pressing the 1 button parry. It's the same. However, you don't know for sure the enemy is gonna release the 1, 2, 3 combo, right? The enemy could very well done something else. A very common thing they do is they do this and they do a jump attack, right? Then if you're not doing a transition parry and they do a jump attack, you will be caught because you are not protected with the blue armor. You're just standing there waiting. However, if you do use a transition parry, your initial state is in blue armor. Even though you haven't decided yet if you're going to parry or not, you are already protected with a blue armor. So let's try that. Right, so basically his jump attack is going to hit me when I'm already in super armor. Right? And then I can decide to counterattack. So basically, doing a transition parry allows you, in this situation, it gives you time to think and to react after the fact. It's like playing rock paper scissors, but you get to see what the enemy is gonna do before you decide what you're gonna do. This is the benefit of a transition parry. But again, like I have said before, it's a fighting game. The transition parry isn't like 100%, like it's 100% winning strategy. Aside from enemy doing this, they could be doing something else. But just being in this blue at least deny 2 of the possibilities, right? It gives you an advantage if the enemy chose the 2 of the most common possibilities, which is doing the third attack and hoping that you catch you off guard, or doing the jump attack to hopefully catch you dodging, or kind of just keep the pressure on. And another way to practice the transition parry is just come to the sparring partner set to counter training and any of the weapons of your choosing. And basically you just get ready to parry by anytime the enemy gets into blue, you also get into blue. And combined with our previous lesson about dodging, if you miss the parry, obviously if you land the parry then do whatever you want, but if you miss the parry, just dodge away, and a lot of the time you can actually catch the enemy off guard and kind of avoid getting punished for missing a parry. Now I want to talk about the advanced usage of transition parry, and as shown here, like I am charging blue in somebody's face and then transitioning to parry right after. You may wonder, like, why is that? For example, let me imagine this boy is a human player, right? He's holding something like a great sword and doing a stage 3 focus attack. Because it has 2 stage attack, you can kind of stay your distance and parry the second one. And everybody knows that already, even newer players. So if they're using a great sword and they see you kind of just standing around doing nothing, they know you're gonna parry them, so they're not gonna release it. Then is there a way to pressure the enemy into releasing their parry? I mean, releasing their blue focus attack so they can parry it? Yes, and that is a transition parry, right? Because if he's charging blue, right, and I go up to him, I can do this, right? I can, because especially for something like a greatsword, my attack is going to come out faster. So this is pressuring him to prematurely release his focus attack, because by making him be afraid that my focus attack is going to hit him first. So so if you get up to the face, and a lot of human player will give in to the pressure and prematurely release their focus attack just in time that your transition parry comes out. So that's another advantage of transition. This video clip is a good example of transition parries. So for example, over here I'm low health and try to disengage. Enemy follows me, and over here, enemy's at full health. He has no pressure in releasing this blue at all. So if I just stand around and do nothing, he's for sure not gonna release the blue, right? So, but because I am holding blue as well, then it's pressuring him into releasing the blue prematurely. And I transition to parry. This is not reactionary based. So basically, when I was holding blue, I already mentally decided I'm gonna gamble on this parry. And that's the purpose. That's the best usage of transition parry. It's not that I see the parry, his blue is coming out, then transition into parry. The transition parry, you have to decide you're gonna transition parry before the blue come out. Otherwise, it'll be too late. The second parry is a dodge parry. I dodge away and transition into a parry right after. This is also not reactionary. As you can see, my parry is already out and waiting for the blue focus set to hit me. And like with most parries, parry has to happen before the focus come out. But the mentality behind this is, I saw him holding a blue, and I was afraid my light attack isn't gonna land on his blue super armor, and I was afraid I was gonna get caught in basically a light attack animation, then I wouldn't be able to get into any other form of parry. So as soon as I see him holding a blue, I decided to try a dodge parry. If the advantage of a C parry is you are protecting yourself with blue super armor, which allow you to kind of wait and decide before you parry, then the disadvantage of the transition parry is it's prone to misclick in situation where you already decided that you're gonna parry. And a very common situation that we run into is we're doing our attacks, right? And our attack end up landing on the enemy that's already holding blue. So we're like, oh shit, I'm getting caught in this attack animation, but the enemy's already holding blue. He's gonna have a stage 1 blue focus attack coming out pretty soon. And I want to parry as soon as my attack animation is done. And then if I try to do a transition parry, it will just end up almost all the time end up being a misclick into a third attack, like this. Basically, it's very common that even though mentally I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna parry, but it doesn't come out. And in order to fix that, then the answer to that is to try to do a C parry. C parry is exactly what it sounds like. Is you press C, then you do a parry. And because the C button is like not the button you're gonna press on accident, right? And the crouch animation also acts as like a soft animation canceling. It will force any animation you're currently doing to end as soon as it can, and then you are free to do everything else thereafter. So it's almost impossible for you to misclick a C parry. So if I'm doing the same thing, 1, 2, then I want to do a parry, right? That's like as fast as it can be already, right? With practice, you can be like really fast, and there's no misclick. It's 100%. If you think about parry, it's gonna come out. So the C parry should be your de facto parry. And allow me to showcase, like, I'll try to simulate. So if the bot is holding a stage 2 charge attack, right? And my light attack already landed on him. Then I was like, oh shit, I need to parry. And let's try again. Oh shit, I need to parry, right? So there's no chance I'm gonna misclick that. I want to parry him. Then this is a C parry, right? So as soon as you realize your mistake, you just press C, and the parry came out. I think I actually dodged that first one, well, by crouching. That's interesting. Right, that's a C parry. In this next part, we're going to talk about dodge parry. The mentality of dodge parry is very similar to the C. The purpose of the dodge is to animation cancel, right? Like C parry, you press C, and then you parry to use the crouch animation to cancel any previous animation, so it's faster and more reliable. And for the dodge parry, it's the same. However, like we talked about, there are like tab dodge and the hold dodge. Tab dodge have a long recovery animation, so generally you don't like tab dodge then parry. Like you notice how that's kind of slow. Whereas if you hold dodge, then it's almost instant. That's hold dodge parry. But then you kind of wonder why would people use hold dodge parry over C parry? Because dodging costs stamina, right? You can only dodge so many times. So wouldn't it be better to save those stamina for when you actually need to dodge? Yes, so basically there is the advantage to dodge parry that C parry doesn't have. Is dodging will cause your opponent to momentarily lose sight of you. Now, this is not guaranteed, but for example, if this guy's here holding in blue and I do a dodge, right? A hold dodge, then parry. I just basically, from his point of view, by the time I get to here, I would have dodged outside of his viewpoint. Like if he's standing here, the guy would have went around basically my computer screen. I can't see him anymore. And even though he can't see me anymore, his aim assist auto target is still targeting me. Then when he releases, the auto correction is gonna make him release toward his back, then just in time for me having a parry waiting for that. The idea here is the same as a transition parry. It's you're trying to increasing your odds of gambling. Now, people always say that parry is a gamble, but it's not. In the sense, all the action you do leading up to you parrying is increasing your chance that your parry will not be will be a winning bet, and the dodge parry does that by dodging behind the enemy, and the enemy opponent will have subconsciously two things happens, right? Either they get more stressed out, the fact that they can't see you anymore, or they get more relaxed because they cannot see you anymore. But regardless of how they think, unconsciously they are not as prepared, so their control kind of slacks and they just may end up releasing the blue out of habit. Whereas obviously if you can't see your opponent, you shouldn't be releasing blue because you don't know if they're parrying or not. But in reality, I think the dodge parry is probably the one I have the most success chance with, and it's also one that most people use because they just got used to using dodge to animation cancel, whereas using C to animation cancel is something you kind of have to learn and practice on. But you do dodge so often that it kind of just becomes second nature. So that's kind of the point. The general use case is the same as a C parry. You hit somebody in their blue and you say, oh shit, I need to parry. Then you just do a dodge and then parry, either directly like this toward your back or behind and do a parry. Let me see if I can simulate that. Just like that, right? Right, dodge parry. This light attack is not necessary. Like you can just parry like this if you see people holding blue, but the fact I'm mixing a light attack into it is kind of showing you a lot of the time what's happening in people's brains. They do a hold dodge to try to catch the opponent in their recovery animation, but they were too late. But they hit them when the opponent is in blue already, and they're like, oh shit, I need to parry. Then you can salvage the situation by doing a dodge parry, and sometimes it works. Plus, this attack also kind of adds stress, right? Like, the opponent is holding blue, and even though he's taking reduced damage, but the fact that I attacked him while he's holding blue also making him more stressful. Then plus I dodged out of his viewpoint. That again made him more stressful. So then the chance of him releasing the blue focus attack is much higher, and I had the parry waiting for him. But yeah, it's obviously not guaranteed a win if he's a veteran and he's mentally prepared. But he might know that this is a strategy and he just hold a 2.0, then he will hit me with his 2.0. This next one is a jump parry. The idea of jump parry is very similar to a C parry. In the C parry, you C to animation cancel, then parry. Then a jump parry is the same thing. Like jumping also does has the effect of animation canceling, but not as quick as a C parry. However, why I do a jump parry, and I think you already saw that. I was here, but when I jumped and parried, I teleported forward. Especially if you're pressing forward, you can teleport quite a bit of distance. Like, wow, that was pretty drastic. Like, right? So this is not a hack. This is as a result of the melee aim assist. The same thing as you jump attack, right? The same principle as jumping attack is certain animations. The game will try to help you by correcting the direction of your attack toward the target, the aim assist target. So this allows jump parry to parry attacks that are already in progress, and the most noticeable usage for this is for dual swords. So for example, if have this guy use dual blades and do a vertical charge, right? If he's attacking already, I go up to him, I'll get hit, right? This happens a lot in trails, like your teammate's getting hit by one of those and you just stand here and watching because you can't do anything. Then I do a jump parry. See how I basically teleported in front of him. Again, this is not hack. I mean, I see this on the forum posts all the time about auto parry hack, about teleport hack. This is not hack. You just have to do a jump parry, but you have to control the distance. So you have to, your parry animation has to come out before the teleportation effect takes place, right? Distance. Right, I'm not like really good at this, but I just know this is a thing. So, but personally, I rarely use it, so my success chance with this is pretty low. Yeah, but if you got the distance down, then you pretty much will be king at jump parry. And a more common usage is like if you grapple somebody, right? And then the guy that's being grappled holds a blue. And then if you were grappled and they do this, you will get hit by their blue. So what you do is you jump and then you jump parry. Like as you get close, you use jump to cancel the grapple and transition to parry. Like as you get close, you use jump to cancel the grapple and transition to parry. Another thing about jump parry is, say I'm fighting this guy, at the corner of my eyes, I hear and see some blue charges. So I think maybe his teammate is coming to kind of try to be sneaky. Then you can do this. See how now I teleport. I moved too far, but basically the jump parry allowed me to quickly switch target and move me toward the other guy to increase my chance of successfully parrying the guy holding a sneaky attack. Okay, so to recap, in order to parry, you have to be in one of the 5 animation states. The first animation state is you're idling like this, like standing around doing nothing. You can parry here. The second is if you're crouching, you can parry. The third one is if you're jumping, you can parry. And the fourth one is if you are dodging, you can parry. And the last one is if you are transition parry, like in the 0.5 second of your first holding blue, you can parry. These are the 5 only animation state you can parry from. If you see somebody that's parrying outside of these animation state, it's probably hacking. But the thing is, a lot of these parry happen so fast, unless you watch the video in like ultra slow-mo, it will just look like hack. Like I said, especially this jump parry teleporting, make a lot of new players think, you know, they are fighting auto parry hacks. And I find myself like the better I got at the game, the less hacker I notice. I think it's just because the amount of hacker and hacks do exist, but their population didn't increase or decrease. It's just that I mistakenly think a good player is hacking because I don't know what they're doing. I'm not a streamer, so I don't have like hundreds of hours of video clips I saved. I can pull clips to show you, but out of the handful of video I do have, and a lot of them will look like hacks. Like I will show you those videos that I can find of me parrying at regular speed, and then I'll replay the same video clip at a reduced speed, so you can see the different type of parry at work and how they look at normal speed and what they look like at slow speed. To recap, so after watching those video clips, in normal speed, some of those look super fast and almost look like the parry came out after the fact, but in slow-mo, pretty much every single parry has to come out before the blue focus that hit you. It's like you are in parry posture already and just waiting for the blue focus attack to hit you. So parry in this game is not reactionary based at all for most part, and it's an educated prediction. I hope this video was helpful, and yeah, on to the next.